50-50, Miles.
Maybe it'll be third time lucky. And on the evidence so far, there will be more chances for Cardiff to convert. Byron Kelleher's 8th international try.
Support runners outside him as well, which meant that the Scotland guard couldn't all come in on him. Hard work, where you don't always get reward, but New Zealand themselves do. Boom.
Once again, the crowd need a bit of encouragement here.
It's very hard, though, because you run from deep against New Zealand, you're turned over and you're killed. But the New Zealand back three with Carter there are so deep, it's frightening to kick. You've got Soialo on one wing, Evans and Carter, and if you kick and you kick badly, they will just bring this ball back at you at pace and break the field up. So when you look at this field, and you can imagine there you're a Scottish halfback or a kicker, the pressure to make the kick right becomes so hard that invariably you get it wrong and then you're punished. So New Zealand press defence caught in trouble.
Pause, engage.
And problems for the scrum on this side. Clear for us to see, not so for the referee. He'll be using the advice of his touch judge. Might just have a wander to this side. Marius Jonker. Have a look at the next scrum.
It's amazing, Miles, isn't it? New Zealand absolutely dominant in the scrums. In this half at the moment, it's one free kick to nil to Scotland. And so often the better attacking scrum gets penalised.
That's a ruck now. Not with your feet.
Cue the whistle.
Not with your feet either.
It's one of the great fallacies, you know, Australia can't win the World Cup because of their scrum and New Zealand will destroy them, but Australia are very good at almost judo style, taking the weight of New Zealand and getting free kicks. Scotland are doing that.
And I thought the referee there should have come over on this side to have a look. That's where the big pressure was.
Yeah, it is. There's a bit of a creak coming on. Craig Smith is struggling. Dan Parks comes on, though, and he does what he does very well. Nothing too flash, but gets his team going downfield. And at the moment, Scotland just need to stay on the front foot. And there you can see. That is not an even scrum. It's unbalanced, and it's New Zealand in the end who lose out. You win the scrum, you lose the penalties.
Hold it. You won't do that again in this game. Going over the line, causing obstruction. You didn't have an influence. Let's do it again. Don't do it again. Let's go. Same ball.
Be interesting to find out what Sean is thinking about the scrum and what's happening there. Maybe get to him in a second.
Don't do that. No, you know you can't do that.
Lawson throws down from Murray. Henderson. Oh, Cussiter pick and go. Richie McCall driven off the ball there. That was good from the Scottish forwards. Parks flat pass. Webster involved. Soialo getting back to make the tackle. Looked a bit hurried there. But not for long as Scotland lose the ball. And Smith gives it to Evans. And Nick Evans, that's a gliding, arcing run. That's beautiful rugby. McCall can't take it, and it falls for Walker.
Absolute pace from Nick Evans there. He really is quick. That's always been the trademark of his game as a fly half. You fade on the outside and he'll cut you to death, and he really did scythe through Scotland there. Very aware, McCall in great support position, and I think Dan Parks just gets a hand in there and deflects the ball away from McCall. Great pace there. Poor old Scotty McLeod had no hope, and Scotland get back well there. It is Dan Parks with the flailing left hand, bails out Scotland.
Touch, pause, engage. Keep the line there.
Well done, Callum, again.
Well done, Callum and Barkley, quite often this half. It's been hard, they've done well.
Cussiter. Parks. That's what happens when that New Zealand defence comes forward. Creates that sense of panic, eye off the ball.
Well, that was poor from Parks, and New Zealand have a plumb position now.
Kelleher, McAllister. It's time to look around and find the other option. There's Reuben Thorne.
Scotland should have been coming harder on New Zealand there. McAllister dithered a little bit, slowed it down.
Nearly through the middle, New Zealand that time. It's a knock on, and we're almost at half-time. What is your assessment of this first half?
I know Wayne Smith has been saying we played some superb rugby in patches in this World Cup. We need to put it together for 80. Now, going on what Wayne Smith wants from New Zealand, I think he'll be very disappointed along with Graham Henry and Steve Hansen. The New Zealand scrum is just in absolute control, but this Scotland scrum is not the strongest in the world. You know, it's a second-string front row. Well, it's a second-string pack. The defence is excellent, but Graham Henry, as he gets up, will be thinking we have to be more precise in our finishing. Maybe their eye is not quite as focused as it will be for games to come, but right now New Zealand will be thinking all that control. 3 tries, we should have a couple more. They'll want more precision in the second half. The power's there, the accuracy is not. For Scotland and Frank Haddon, there's been some good rearguard efforts in the back row. Other than that, they really have struggled in this game.
Some very important words for Frank Haddon to prepare now to deliver to his team at half-time.
Yeah, they're not going to want to go down in a landslide here. No matter what anyone says about different players, they're all in the same squad. And if you go to St Etienne having taken a 70-80 point beating, which is possible if New Zealand pick up the pace, that will drain, maybe not momentum for sure, but it will dent confidence.
Oh, and again at the scrum.
There's no mystery why it's going down. There's no mystery.
Tony Woodcock is all over Craig Smith.
He's straight there, and you know, Woodcock's doing nothing. It's Smith going down there, but New Zealand putting big pressure on.
Smith and Lawson Dickinson need to go deep here. They need all of their reserves. It's free kick to Scott.
It's the old Aussie judo. Take the delay. New Zealand coming with a hit. You get caught. Who knows? The best scrum in the World Cup. They could end up losing the tournament because of it.
So that's half-time, and New Zealand with all the first half points, and no doubt a happy Richie McCall, and we'll be getting the views after the break of Kenny and in particular Sean on that scrum with Jim, and that comes next.
Yeah, welcome back. It's Scotland, New Zealand, and the second half is just about to get underway. Let's now rejoin our commentary team of Miles Harrison and Stuart Barnes.
Taken by Callum.
Well, away 7. It's fine, it's fine.
Down Parks. It's a good start, and Scotland need a good start to the second period. They need a good second half, don't they, in general?
Yeah, I don't think New Zealand are going to let Scotland back into this game, but we're talking about St Etienne next Saturday and the key match with Italy. Scotland will want their morale intact. New Zealand will want more accuracy, more precision, to keep feeling that the momentum is going the right way. It's an interesting 40, this one.
Carter slipping that pass beautifully. McCall, one of the supporters. And there were options again. The ball carrier for New Zealand is always given, it seems, a man on either shoulder, up with play. Such a feature of their game. And there might be something on the overlap here. So Oyalu.
Hands off, there's no blue! Advantage.
Evans nearly losing his jersey. And referee Yonker has given the penalty.
You can't pull him into the record more. You can't pull him in.
There's some news, by the way, on Chris Patterson, and the reason why he went off. He got a poke in the eye, and obviously was having trouble out there, so it wasn't necessarily a tactical change, but as you say, Stuart, things were going wrong, badly wrong for Patterson. might well have been one.
That's an interesting call, isn't it? 20-0 up, you feel the game is done. And 5 metres from touch, and New Zealand go for the 3. Here you can see Nick Evans being pulled back into the ruck. That is illegal. Wade Smith the guilty party there, and a chance for Carter. Quite surprising in a way, 5 metres from the touchline, that New Zealand aren't banking on their line-out, but maybe that tells you something as well about the fact New Zealand's line-out is not like its scrum. Why not take a scrum, I guess? Another option.
DC, the New Zealand superstar. First points of the second half go to his side. Graham Henry.
3 converted scores up now. New Zealand must think these are a foundation to move on. Lovely offload by Carter at the start of that move as well. A few times now he's got the ball away. He's got good upper body strength, and because the support is good, there's always confidence to keep that ball alive.
McAllister.
Oh,
Man who's going to sail in England after the World Cup. He's a young man who plays brilliantly. McCall, and then Smith and Howlett trying to get on the end of this. And the All Blacks there were streaming through. Conrad Smith again. Carter. His game is full of balance, and we saw the balance there of McAllister and the way he moved. And Scotland are going to get the put in, but once again they're deep in their own half, where they spent the majority of this match.
not for the first time. Luke McAllister makes a lovely slash-in break. Just a little show off the left foot there and go. And McCaw just gliding up on the in the inside, support both places. But what will just disappoint New Zealand once again, they get into the killer zone and they don't finish Scotland off. Great defence from Scotland again, but New Zealand are setting high standards and they'll want to put these chances away.
Touch, pause, engage, keep it up there. That's much better.
Well, that was a feed.
Almost into the second row, not the front row. But New Zealand driving over, and Scott Murray, cheeks puffed out, giving everything and having to. Scotland's defence keeping them in this match, but by their fingertips.
And now the joy for the Scotland front five of another scrum with New Zealand putting the pressure on, finding it very hard to get anything out of these situations there. Ali Williams daintily stepping over Craig Smith there. The crowd actually booed and he did very well twice. Not always a man known to avoid the back, is he, Ali Williams, but the light fandango there from the big lot.
His mother's Scottish, maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah. Merciful Ali Williams, I think not.
Players do have to watch out. The use of the boot these days goes against the grain for many a rugby player, certainly in New Zealand. Callum, and driven back over his own line.
You think New Zealand meant that piece of defensive work? That's twice now Scotland on their own line have been smashed back. Marsoe here, so strong. And look at Byron Kelleher. Kelleher, for about the third time today, has been instrumental in the secondary surge. The first man grabs his guy, and then the next New Zealanders in, come in so hard and fast. There's great power there. And from this position, surely the Blacks will look to impose their game and cross the line. I don't know if they're being allowed to scrummage here.
Right, you watch this side for me, I'm going, yeah. You got to carry on strumming, please. Keep the bind.
Referee asking Scotland to keep it by, and he has come over to his side now. Really should have done it in the first half. Need to take a close look at this. Yeah, the penalty.